All right, let's get right into it. We're in the middle of a massive shift in what AI can do. We're moving away from models that just, understand things, to models that can actively build things in our world. And trust me, this is a very big deal. Google just pulled back the curtain on the tools making it happen.
So just picture this for a second. You've got an idea for an app. It's probably a little messy, maybe the details are all over the place. And you're not a coder, or hey, maybe you just don't have time to build it from the ground up. You've just got the vision.
And then, boom, you watch as that messy idea turns into a real working application, built right in front of your eyes. This isn't some far-off sci-fi concept anymore. This is what we're actually going to see today.
The whole idea behind this is that AI is evolving. Seriously, it's not just a passive little helper for answering questions or summarizing a long article. It is becoming an active partner, a co-pilot that can take your instructions and actually get stuff done.
This slide lays out the evolution perfectly. You see, Gemini 1.0 was all about understanding things. Then, the next generation moved on to reasoning, planning and logic. But this third stage, it's all about acting. It's built to use tools, make function calls, and literally build things.
So, how in the world do you teach an AI to act? Well, it's kind of like a two-step process. Think of pre-training as sending the AI to school. It learns all the basics from, pretty much the entire internet, plus other data. But then, post-training is like on-the-job experience. That's where it gets shown these super specific, expert examples of how to do complex tasks, like using a bunch of different tools to build a website.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's see how this thing actually works. We're going to check out a demo from Google's AI Studio where someone literally builds a pretty complex app just by talking to the AI.
And listen to this prompt. This is not some clean, simple command. It's a total stream of consciousness, a real-world, kind of messy idea. An insurance app, that uses a webcam, and it needs to talk to you and catalog your stuff and search Google for prices, and to top it all off, it needs to have, quote, IKEA vibes.
And here you can actually see the AI's thought process. It breaks down the request, it plans out the app structure, and it gets to work generating the code. But check out step 4. It got creative and named the app Nordic Shield, completely on its own. How perfect is that for capturing that IKEA vibe?
Now, of course, in the real world, things don't always work perfectly the first time. So in the live demo, the app launched, the webcam turned on, but the microphone input failed. And honestly, this is where things get really impressive. So instead of just crashing, the AI kicks off an auto-fix. It spots the error, and you can actually see its little reasoning trail on the screen. It's asking itself, okay, is the mic on? How do I even read this media stream? Then it goes through its own code, finds the problem, and pushes a fix. It is debugging itself in real time. And here is the final product, the Nordic Shield app, totally functional. It correctly identifies a Pixel phone, notes the scuffs, and calls the condition fair. And then it uses a search tool to find a real-world estimated value of $150. It does the same for a can of soda and a computer screen. A complex, messy idea became a working app, just like that. So, okay, it can build an app. That's cool. But can it actually make smart business decisions? Well, believe it or not, there's a benchmark for that. It's called Vending Bench. And it's basically a simulation that tests how well an AI can run a passive business, in this case, a vending machine. And that's the number. Over $5,000. That's the profit Gemini 3 Pro made in one simulated year of running that vending machine. It handled all the ordering, the restocking, the planning, everything to maximize profit. So this shows its ability to act goes way beyond code. It gets into strategic decisions that create actual value.
All right, let's switch gears. We've talked code, we've talked strategy, now let's talk about pure visual creation. Google also dropped Nano Banana Pro. It's their next-gen image model, and the stuff it can make is, it's just kind of absurd. For example, it can generate these incredibly detailed, technically accurate architectural blueprints of real places, like the famous Neuschwanstein Castle. It even gets the text right on the blueprint, which, if you follow this stuff, has been a massive headache for image models until now.
And to bring it back to a practical use, a team at a hackathon recently used this model to generate every single asset for their video game. We're talking characters, backgrounds, design patterns, the whole shebang. That is a massive speed boost for any creative project.
For our last demo, we're going to look at something called Anti-gravity. It's a coding environment that was built from the ground up for people and AI to work together. It basically combines understanding what it sees with generating code in a really powerful way.
The prompt here is so simple it's almost funny. The user just gives it a screenshot of their old, boring website and then a screenshot of a new design they like, in this case something really vibrant and cool, and the request is just, make my old site look like this new one. And the AI just gets to work. First, it analyzes the visual style of the new design, picking out all the key elements. Then it dives into the old site's code and maps out a step-by-step plan to transform it, building new parts and changing up the style sheets.
And here's the result. Not only did it totally nail the new design philosophy, but it also added its own little creative flourishes, like making the buttons jiggle when you hover over them. It didn't just copy the look, it interpreted it and made it better.
So, when you put all of this together, what does it really mean? Well, it's not about any single model or one cool feature. It's about a whole ecosystem of tools that work together, turning AI into a genuine creative partner. You've got the powerful models like Gemini 3 that can think and act. You've got these creative playgrounds like AI Studio and Anti-gravity where you can work with them. And it's all built on a rock-solid cloud infrastructure so you can actually deploy what you build. It's the full stack for creating with AI.
So we've seen an AI build an app, run a business, and redesign a website. It's clearly not just a tool anymore. It's a teammate. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build together?